All right, good morning, everybody. My name is Bennett McDowell with TradersCoach.com, and welcome to Stock Analysis Friday, also known as SAF. All right, so today is September 27th, 2024. All right, so the purpose of Stock Analysis Friday is for me to take a quick look at anything you may be thinking about buying or anything that you may be in or perhaps selling. All right, so I'll take a look at whatever you type in there in the comments area. And remember to type in those symbols in caps, and that would be for stocks or ETFs, All right, let me go through a quick analysis first here of some administrational items, and then we'll get going. Also, too, we're going to be here for about 30 minutes. So please, when you type those in, do no more than 3 at a time. All right, that way we keep things moving. All right, so let me just first go over the risks involved in trading. Like I always say, without those risks, there are no opportunities. So the two go hand in hand, but we want you, of course, to be aware of the risks. And past performance doesn't guarantee future performance. We deal in a realm of probabilities when we trade and invest in the financial markets. So please realize that. Check with your financial advisor. If there's anything we uncover here that you think you might be interested in, definitely run that by them because they know your personal situation. And of course, I do not. Always trade with risk capital. Also, too, if you're interested in day trading, occasionally we get people that are interested in that, especially as supplemental income. But it is something you're going to have to learn. All right, it's hard work, but it's also pretty exciting. One of the ways we recommend getting involved in that is through prop firms, funded prop firms. One of the most popular and oldest one out there is Apex Trader Funding. And I put a link up there in the chat area if you're interested in pursuing that, because that gives you a discount on their evaluation accounts and you can read about how everything works. Nice thing about their accounts is they give you free data, free live futures data, so you can't beat that. All right, so let me keep going here. I've got a couple books that you may be interested, especially on money management. My new book, The Art of Trading, coming out this year. It's finished. Being published by Wiley. McGraw-Hill published the Elliott Wave Technique Simplified that I wrote, and you may be interested in some money management books as well. We're going to be using a variety of proprietary software tools, the ART software, the OWL, PTF, TLM, ERI indicators. That's all charting software. Under that, we have scanners that work in NinjaTrader's Market Analyzer, TradeStation's radar screen, and multi-chart scanner as well. And then under that, we have standalone risk reward software, as well as record-keeping software for active traders. So all that is available. All right, so give us a like. And of course, if you're here, you're probably already subscribed. All right, so let me come out of here. And I'm going to go over a couple things here. First thing is just to take a look at the overall markets. Here's the NASDAQ. And NASDAQ, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to figure out that the NASDAQ is still moving upward. I mean, just draw trend lines and you're right there. You can see it very, very easily. So that is definitely moving up. We made a new high, we pulled back, but I think we're going to make more new highs because this thing is still powerful to the upside. Now, with that said, the S&P, similar thing. So is the Dow. Quickly show the S&P here. You can see the same situation. That is currently right now making new highs. So that is also in an uptrend. So I know if you tune in to YouTube, you'll hear a lot of folks say, that the market is going to crash this summer. Well, it didn't. Okay. Follow the market. Follow the trend lines. All right. The price action is your friend in this case. And it is the reality of what's going on. Sometimes markets go up when they shouldn't, all right? So you can't fight the trend. Just follow it. That's the key thing. Now, with that said, all our forecasting tools that we use, from Elliott Wave to various other cycle tools, are indicating that, yes, a bear market is around the corner, but it is not here yet. So don't forget that. A great analogy I always use with the overall markets is one of sailing a sailboat. If they're predicting a storm in the future, you're not going to put up storm sails today if the weather is good, right? So you're going to sail the current conditions, and that's what I want you to do with the overall markets. All right, a couple I want to cover here, a few. I'm going to start out with a crypto one here, GBTC. And let's take a look at that one here. So GBTC basically is an ETF, very popular ETF for the Bitcoin market. And if you remember, we were saying when it got down to a Fibonacci retracement level, let me draw that in here again, which was between basically a low of 45 to 33, that would be a good place to buy, right? So in that case here, that would be this level here. And even if it dips back in at some point, another good buy point. So use these moves down, these corrections, to buy into markets that are still in an overall uptrend. And we think Bitcoin here is in an overall uptrend, because if we look at this chart on the far right with the weekly chart using our indicators here, we have one here called the PTF, and I'll highlight that, put some arrows there for you. And basically that has a 75% accuracy rate, 75%. So when it's green, find the highest price in that green area, which was the all-time high on GBTC, as well as Bitcoin and other cryptos as well. And so that's indicating that after a correction, we should go back up. All right, so are we over with the correction? We certainly could be. We retraced to the minimum requirement here, but also too, we got a little bit of red still showing here, so we might have some more volatility before going up. So that's kind of where we're at now. Now, one thing I quickly want to do is give you a possible target for this as well. And if this is a bottom that we've seen put in over the summer on GBTC, then we can expect a target area in here, all right? And that's between 72.31 up to 92.46, and we're sitting at 52.82. So there's a lot of room for expansion. There's a lot of room for profitability. In terms of an Elliott wave count, we're looking at a 3 for those that are into that form of technical analysis, 4, and the 5 target zone being represented by the fib extension. So I guess we're bullish on GBTC after all is said and done, but we also realize that we may see some more volatility before getting to that upper target range. Again, if it gets between 45, 71 to 33.12, those are buying opportunities. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, so let's see. Al, how are you doing today? Let's take a look at yours here. So let me put you up here. All right, so you are long on these, and that's MNPR. Okay, let's see that one come up here. All right. Ooh, I'm liking that. So Al, you're doing a really good job. I've been watching you every week, and you are really finding markets moving off bottoms or out of consolidation areas, and a very smart way to trade. All right, so we've got to move up here. We've got quite a few, all green PTFs. So more highs are coming. So we can be a little aggressive on the entry, right? So if you're already long, you're in good shape there. Let's just figure out where a possible target zone is. All right, so based on the best PTF here, we're probably looking at a target, let me just grab my pointer, of probably this area here, right? So that's a PTF. That's the highest price bar in the green area. And so when we look at something like that, let me just put my cursor and get a target price on that. So when we're looking at that, that price bar has a high of 8.65. So we have a pretty good chance, 75% probability of getting up there. So you kind of want to hold this, right? And then we'll take a look at it when we get up there. Now, if this is a bigger move off the bottom, all right, and there's not a lot of history here, so it's kind of, you got to be a little careful here. But if that's a bigger move off the bottom, then our next area of resistance, of course, is going to be these areas in here, all right, here and here. So let's get above here and see what the reaction is here. If we get, I mean, you might get some selling here, you might get a little resistance, but if we can get above it, then that resistance will turn into support. So let's keep taking a look at that. But I like it. All right. I like it a lot. Now, for those of you that are not in this, I think basically We're pretty close to the PTF target within 2 points. And if I had to put a stop down here, it would be pretty far down. So I'm not going to recommend this one for new folks, but Al, since you're in it, okay, you're in good shape. All right, let's take a look at your next one, RKLB. And on this one here, another one bounce off the bottom. Again, green PTF across the board. I see no reason to get out of this. And at this particular point here, all right, looks like today we are getting over this high. So a lot of these PTFs, let's see what we're going to do. This one's going to stay green. This one looks like it's going to stay green. This weekly one could turn yellow. So that will go into neutral. Again, if you're not in this one, I'm not recommending it. It's a little too far up there. But Al, if you're in it, certainly stay with it. Now, a couple of things here. You've got a pyramid trading point, which is one of our proprietary indicators that we use for fractal analysis of support and resistance levels for entries and exits. And, you know, we had our first entry way down here, second one here, stops, you know, trail up like this. So here's your stop right there to give this enough latitude to come down. Now, a couple things. When the PTFs all turn yellow, then that's a time to scale out. But I think you're pretty good here. So I'd probably stay with it. You know, you may get a pullback, temporary pullback. So if you want to scale out a little bit here, okay, but stay with it, okay? All right, Stuart, welcome. All right, Coin, C-O-C-O-I-N. Let's see how Coinbase is doing today. All right, so let's take a look first at this chart on the far right. No, we don't have that much history, okay, but we have enough on the daily to make an assessment here. Okay, so I don't know if you're long or short this. You do not want to enter a long position here. You've got two red PTFs on the lower time frames, so I don't think this correction is over, all right? We may just be in a move up inside an overall correction. So we kind of got to be a little careful here and see what happens. We're probably at a critical point. If you drew a fib retracement level in here to here, notice we're right in that range there where we should see a reversal. And if we don't, and it continues higher and these PTFs turn green, then that changes things and the correction could be over at that point. But for right now, if you're in it, stay with it. All right, you got a pyramid here, or you can put it at the most recent bottom, okay, there. All right, let's take a look at your next one, DOCU, and see what we come up with here. All right, so in this one here, again, breaking out nicely on the weekly chart. So you've got a nice early breakout here. So I'm liking that. We just took out this pyramid. This is our next area of resistance right here. We got a green PTF saying we should go above that, and it certainly looks like we're moving up there. We've got green here. So again, if you're in it, I would stay in it. If you're not in it, you missed a better chance to get in it earlier on this pyramid here. Not too late to get in it, but I think I would wait for it to break this resistance level. And if it soars on up, then that's your new support level. Okay, so you look at it that way. So I think I'm going to put that on hold. Not quite ready for everybody. I mean, it could be a long-term trade, but let's take a look at this and put this on our watch list for next week, simply because I want to see some follow through on that. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. BJ Smith, South, how are you? All right, DXY. DXY. Let's take a look at this bad boy. All right, not coming up, no data on this one here. Let's take a look at gold. All right, there we go. All right, gold making new highs, okay. Projection for the initial surge up was around 220 to 240. We're sitting at 244 now. All right. So this has done really, really well. Let me know if you're long or thinking about these when you type them in. Let me know if you're in them, you're thinking about going in them, and that way I can give you an analysis more tailored to what you're looking for. All right, no reason to get out. All right, green PTF long term. We will have a correction in gold at some point, but this week we stay with it. All right, if you draw simple trend lines to help you manage the trade. You've got one right there, okay, that you can draw, and you can draw an easier one here as well. I would just draw it like that if you want a nice tight one. Pyramids are way down, quite a bit lower, anticipating a pullback. Again, if you want to trade it very short term, you got a pyramid here on the 60-minute, and it looks like you would have been just stopped out of that. So it's up to you on how you want to manage it, but I think more highs are coming, and so I'd stay with it for now, okay? Good one to look at. All right, Jim, how are you? UNG. I'm glad we're looking at that. That's one I wanted to look at, our natural gas one here. Okay, so this one has come off the bottom. All right, kind of happy about that. We're not quite out of the woods yet, but we are working our way out. Let's just say it like that. We're probably getting up to a level here that's kind of a critical level. You can see where I drew in some fib retracements for an initial target, but we've still got a green PTF on the daily, indicating that the main target is way up here, roughly right around 22. Okay, and we're sitting at 1632. So you still got some room to move up. We got tremendously great bullish divergence. All right, and bullish divergence basically is when prices go down, but momentum as identified by the OWL indicator, which is another one of our indicators, all right, is actually increasing. So that is bullish divergence. So I'm liking that a lot. All right, it's not quite green yet on the OWL, but it's certainly working its way there. We got a yellow PTF now, now that we reached the target zone inside here, okay? And let me just get these a little more accurate down here. There you go. All right, so we're solidly in that target zone now. All these are a little bit off. There you go, okay? So I would expect, you know, at some point, we either go higher, break through here, or pull back. And then when we pull back, we got to see if that pullback is just going to be a slight pullback. Now, a couple things here. I did a whole webinar on price action yesterday at the client support, and that is on our YouTube channel as well. And so you may want to look at that. But what do we have here? A nice double bottom, right? 2X, double bottom. So we had a nice move off that. We have a pyramid here. So I'm liking this. Do I think it is too late to go in? Not necessarily. All right. You'd have to put your stop pretty far down at this point. I would like to wait for the pullback on this before recommending it at this level. All right. Before, when we first recommended it, it was pretty low, good low entry, low stop loss. Now we're out into the target zone. So I want to see how it reacts to this area here. So let's put that on a watch list. If you're long, I'd stay with it, all right? Even if you get a pullback, you're already in it. You probably got in at a fairly good price. So I would just stay with it because I really anticipate a pullback and then another move up, kind of looking maybe something like this, okay, on the charts. All right, thanks, Jim. All right, BJ's back. UUP instead, sure. All right, let's take a look at that bad boy. All right, so quick analysis across the board here. All right, so long-term bullish on this. And the reason I say that is because this is the weekly chart on the far right. And green PTF, big move up, correction, and it looks like we may go down a little further. This is the 60-minute chart, which is a short-term chart we look at to time our entries. And it looks like we're going to dip a little lower, okay? So I don't think the correction... we may have a bottom here, but I think we got a little volatility. We may get a pullback. I'd like to see how far back that pulls back. All right. I don't think it's going to take out the bottom here. I think that really looks pretty solid. And if we grab some fibs, I think we can even see there that it hit the fib target zone. So that's always good. So I think this is not bad. I think that what I'd like to see is the 60-minute chart. You know, if you drew a trend line, it'd be down here. Let's break that trend line, come up. You know, that can happen in a few days because that's such a short-term chart. This also, unfortunately, is also down, right? but we do have a situation where we're closer to momentum turning positive. So I'd say let's put this on a watch list, come back to that. But at this particular point here, the short-term charts are still heading down, so I would not go into it, okay, at this time. All right, Stu is back. All right, PFE, Pfizer, we've looked at that quite a bit, and Pfizer looked pretty good as I remember from last week. Let's see how it's doing now. All right, so our target on Pfizer is between 36.60 to 43 based on a weekly fib retracement. So what we're really saying when we say that, let me just erase that for a minute. What we're really saying is that worst case scenario or most conservative target is that. The other target would be a major bottom in here and heading up here and taking out here. So what I always do is I say, okay, let's shoot for the conservative target, which is just a normal fib retracement. So even if the downtrend is not over, a lot of times you get pressure up here, you got shorts covering, you got a variety of factors driving the market up to those Fibonacci retracement levels. And then a decision has to be made. You know, are the bulls going to continue this baby up, or are the bears going to come down and shut it down? And that's the kind of information that will become obvious, or more obvious, I should say, when we get to that target zone. So I would keep that to this target zone. Now, I'm not going to recommend this one right now for this week because we have a red PTF now on the 60-minute chart. So notice here on the chart, and that's over here on the far left, but notice here on the chart in the center, you've got quite a lot of volatility here. You've got a lot of movement up and down. And I think, let's see if we can draw a pennant in here. And this pennant will be fairly important to see which way it will break out, okay? So if it breaks out to the upside, then chances are it's going to, at that point, make a break to our target, which is 36.60 to 43.74. If it breaks down, which the 60-minute chart says it will do, then we have to wait a little longer. All right, so PFE, not quite a buy at this particular point anymore, but if you're in it, you can stay in it. I do think eventually you'll get up to this target zone, but you might have a little volatility at this point. All right, BMY, let's take a look at this. All right, so BMY is better, okay? You're asking me which one is better, PFE or BMY? I like BMY better, simply because we have no red PTF on the 60-minute chart. And we also have now a nice trend line, okay, up, right? And I'm liking that, and we're making a move off its bottom. We've got a green owl on the weekly. We've got a green owl here. We do have all yellow PTF, so we're probably going to get a pullback at this point here, Stu. But after that, I'm thinking it's going to go to the target. So we've also got 1, 2, 3, 4 pyramids, 3 P pyramids here. Let's take a look at the 60. Yeah, so let's see. Let's draw on some fib retracements and give you an idea of what could happen if this thing pulls back. And so that kind of could be a range here. The problem is, it looks to me actually like this is a 3. Let me rethink that. 3, 4, maybe 5. So that would be the end of a major move up here. Then we have a pullback. So the pullback could be bigger than just a quick correction. It could be significant. So then we may get a double bottom. We may only go down to 45. Hard to say. I guess the best time to have gotten in would have been clearing this area, waiting. They got a pyramid here, but this is your resistance area. That cleared, and that turns into support. I think I'd wait for the pullback. Okay, and I like this one better, but I think it's going to pull back. All right, Jim, let's move on to you. SIL. And again, guys, tell me if you're long or short or you're thinking about it, okay? All right, SIL. All right, green PTF, really good. All right, we've had a nice pullback, Always like to get in after pullbacks, right? Pretty messy chart on a lot of volatility here. All right, so you got to take a broad-based view of this. And when I say broad-based view, it means you can't keep your stops so close. So again, draw the trend line. You got a couple different trend lines going on here. That's your long-term one, more of a short-term one. All right, if you get a pullback at another high, you can draw another one in there. You've got kind of a choppiness with new highs here. You have bearish divergence between the owls here and here, and yet you have a good situation on the weekly chart. So how do you look at this? Okay, you've got to give the stop room. I'm looking at this as yes, probably we're going to break above $50 or $55, and we're at 36 here. But if you try to keep your stop anywhere closer than this pyramid, for example, on the weekly, you stand a high probability in this volatility of getting stopped out. All right. So you got to keep that in mind. You got to give it a room. So at this very, very minimum, I would put it under here, which is the same thing as this pyramid here. So around 30 or a little under, and we're at 36. Where is it going to go? Well, we're thinking 50 to 55, probably more like 55. So you definitely have the risk to reward there to make that worthwhile. All right. So I think I'm going to put silver as a buy with the caveat of a wide stop. Okay. Wide stop on that one. All right. Good. All right. Let's keep going here. Lowell, how are you? All right. So we got KRE and curious. Okay. Curious about future movement. All right, so a couple things on this one. All right away, what stands out to me is the red PTF on the weekly chart. And again, I rely on that indicator because it has a 75% accuracy rate. Now, that doesn't mean prices can't go against it for a while, but overall, what it's saying is that this bottom here so far does not look like the bottom, okay, long term, all right? And we've come up to roughly a 50% level here. So we're kind of at a point of inflection right here. Put an I for inflection. So let's see what happens with that. Now, could the PTF be wrong? Sure, 25% of the time it is. All right, but you know, if it's 75% right, I kind of rely on that, right? All right, a little bit of volatility here. All right, I don't like this one right now because of that red PTF, okay? And again, it's pretty a lot of volatility. Let's take a look at your other one, FHN. You know, when you look for trades, try to look for trades that are clear, okay? Trades that are clear. Okay, so on this one here, because you really, nobody's forcing you to take a trade, so you might as well be pretty picky. All right, so this one here, again, red PTF, this is interesting. Okay, so red PTF on the weekly, okay? You can see that right down here. Green PTF, however, on the daily. And that confuses people when they see that type of situation. You know, well, what's it going to do? Is it going to go up or is it going to go down? All right, so right away, remember what I said, I think, a couple weeks ago. If you're new here, you read from left to right. So usually the 60-minute chart is going to happen before the daily chart, and the daily chart is going to happen before the weekly chart. I kind of like the weekly chart's like an aircraft carrier, right? Very slow to turn. Daily charts are your more sporty ships, and your smaller and most sportiest ships are the 60-minute. So those are going to move quick and erratic and much quicker than the weekly chart. Okay, so keep that in mind. But we have a red PTF. We're in this high probability area where we may see a turnaround. I don't like the red PTF. The green PTF is saying, okay, turnaround, not quite yet, going up. So here's the way to read this. All right, this correction to the upside, and so far you got to look at it as a correction because this is red, is not over yet. Okay, it's going to go a little higher, and it can. All right, the zone for that is 1894 as a top. So very easily could go back up and still comfortably be within the zone. Once this turns yellow, all right, then the next move could be down provided this stays red. So that's how I would read that right now. So I'm a little, let's see what happens with this. If you're contemplating a short position, you don't want to do that now either because this is still green. Wait for that to go away before thinking about a short, okay? So FHN, I wouldn't do anything with that at this particular point. All right, let's take a look at Tesla. All right, this is one we recommended a while back here. And, you know, we're thinking a target on Tesla is now moving up off its bottom. So 352 to 507 is our price target for this. We got green PTFs across the board. We actually recommended this one quite a while ago, and since then, it has done pretty nicely at this point. Now, the next resistance level is this high here. All right, we got a green here, so let's see if we can take that out this week. If you wanted this for a long one, you could do it, all right, but you got to give your stop enough room, so you need to put it pretty far away. So you might want to do an option on this, okay? Just a simple call option, or if you're an option pro, you can do something more exotic, but that may be something good. So Tesla to me is still a buy here, but probably best with an option, okay? All right, let's see what else I wanted to look at here. Okay, gold. Gold we looked at, sorry. UNG we looked at. How about USO? All right, this is the ETF for oil, all right? And talk about an interesting ride on this one. So on our chart on the far left, we put a target up here of around 100 to 126. And boy, has it been some ride, because it has been, put a bottom in here, which is holding, okay? And then it kind of oscillated here, and we're kind of waiting for that breakout. And look at this chart. Oh my gosh, right? You know, look how it's, you know, if you're going to trade these swings, that's fine. But again, this is one of those that if you're long, you got to keep your stop far away, all right? Or you're just going to get chewed up by volatility. So I'm not going to recommend this one unless you are willing to put your stop pretty far away. In this case, it's actually not that far. It's only roughly under that low point here, which is 58.05. So that's not too bad. But again, we've got a downtrend here in place and all that kind of stuff. So I would not jump into this at this point, all right? I would stay away from that. All right, so my alarm's going off that we've got, we're at the end of the half an hour. Is there any last minute ones that you need to have me look up? Let me know, and I'll be glad to do that. I think we're pretty good. I think I got to them all here, so I think we're okay there. All right, I think we're good. Oh, we do have some more, I think, coming in. Nope, I think we got them all. Okay, I think we're good here. All right, Lowell, you're very welcome. Thank you. All right, so let me just put this on as a wrap up. I guess silver, SIL. I think, Jim, that was yours. That looks pretty good to me with a wide stop. Tesla with an option, okay? I think those look good. Again, cryptos, I think it'll be interesting to see if they continue to move up, but our long-term target is still above the spring high on that. All right, let's just go over and see what the short-term time frames are doing on our NASDAQ market here. So, you know, we do a lot of day trading. We have a day trading room, and we do a lot of prop trading, account trading. And I put a link up there if you're interested in doing that type of thing. We also have a day trading room, okay? So as you can see, this is the MNQ. This is the December 24 contract, live market. We got a 1 minute here. We got a 15-second here, 5 minute here, depending on your style of trading. You need to adjust the time frames to your liking. The 1 minute's pretty fast. I recommend probably a 3 minute for most people, okay? Simply because that gives you time to react. All right, so we've got a move down here. Again, you know, you don't have to get too complicated. Very simple, trend line down. And unless you're a scalper, all right, you're not going to fight that. All right, you're going to go with the trend for right now. So that's kind of where we're at now. If I was trading this, I'd probably wait for a pullback before joining the trend down from a day trading standpoint. But at this particular point, stand on the sidelines if you're not in it. Wait for that retracement and see what happens. We do have a green PTF over here, so we may actually want to think about a long trade once this retracement is done. All right, so listen, I'll see everybody next week. We'll be back on Friday. Thanks for coming, everybody. Again, you might want to take a look at a video we produced yesterday on price action. Okay, price action basically means exactly what it means, price action. And the charts that we used yesterday have no indicators on them. So it's all about looking at patterns and looking at price bars and what they're telling us, and also in context to the levels of support resistance in the market. Okay, so check that out. All right, thanks everybody. I'll put a little music on. I'll keep it on the lower time frames here for about another minute before we close the room. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.